So is fear driving you crazy during these uncertain times? Stay tuned as we dive into how to handle fear. As a business person, it's vital that you learn how to deal with fear because you're going to be facing it all the time. Um, at certain points in our lives, we all are scared, and especially when we're starting on a new venture that we don't really understand, uncharted waters, as they would say. Um, it can be a lot to undertake. But if you do it correctly, you can use fear to your advantage. I know from being in a life of sales, to where that's the majority of what I've done during my life until I made a shift over into the marketing realm. There never was a time that I wasn't scared out of my mind right before I did my next sales presentation. No matter how long I was with the company, no matter how long I'd been selling that product, how well I knew all the answers, I knew all the rebuttals. The fear went away once I started. Even doing these videos, right before I start shooting, there's just that little twinge of fear of anytime. I mean, you may not have that problem, but I do. But I've used that to my advantage. I feel like whenever my back is against the wall is when I seem to do my absolute best. So that's how I twist and turn it to my advantage. I mean, I really am not that comfortable doing these videos. But I feel like I can help people. I feel like I got knowledge to share, and I got a lot of experience in this area. And, so push past it and do it. Just do it. So I want you to take a moment and think of all the different kinds of fear that you may have. Might be the fear of failure, or you could have a fear of being judged by others, or some people, even have a fear of success. They start to worry about what they're going to do with their money if they get it, if they get some power and people are depending on them for their income. They become a boss and they hire several people. What happens if something goes wrong and now it's not just me, it's all these people? People have all these fears they don't even realize they have, that you need to address, because the mindset has to be clear. If you can do something about it, then do it. If you can't do anything about it, then you can't do anything about it. So either way, instead of being worried or scared or fearful, if you can do something about it, then do that thing. Don't sit and be scared. And if there's nothing you can do about it, come to that realization that there is nothing you can do about it. So I try to remember that when the time comes, because once again, I'm no different than anybody else. I have my fears. I have the things that keep me up at night, that run through my head, that make me not be able to sleep. And it's just a matter of manipulating those thoughts in your own head and tricking yourself into using them to your advantage, as we talked about earlier. So a lot of times we have fear about what's going to happen if we fail. And I like to turn that around a little bit and think about and even generate the fear of what happens if I do nothing at all. You can have the fear of failing, but you're going to fail all the times that you don't even try. So you have to be able to take risks and be able to face that fear that you're not going to succeed every single time. Every successful person is built upon the steps of failure. You are going to fail way more than you're going to succeed. And I'm sorry if that scares you at all, but that's just the truth. If you've been in sales, or if you've ever dated in your life, you're going to fail more than you're going to succeed. Not every single pitch you do is going to succeed. And odds are you're going to fail the vast majority of them. To have a 20% close rate is incredible. If you're closing 1 out of every 5 people you talk to, you're extremely successful. But you're not going to close anybody that you don't talk to. If you're too afraid to get out there and face your fears and put your business ideas forward, put your business forward, make your plans and execute them, or if you're in sales, to actually knock on that door or make that phone call, make your pitch, well, you're going to fail all of those because you didn't do it. You have to do it. So realize that when you are facing your fears, which one's worse? That you might hear no, or that you never even got the shot. So take your shot. You need to realize too that your fears are going to shape the types of goals you set for yourself, especially in the short term. You know, it works the same way for like impulse buying. You know, in the short term, fear will sabotage you, and in the short term, thinking about instant gratification and getting that big screen TV instead of investing in real estate or investing in the stock market, you're going to get that short-term win, but a long-term loss. And when you let fear take over, you're going to get the short-term win of not being afraid anymore, of dodging that fear, but you're going to get the long-term loss in the opportunities that you've missed, the opportunities that could have made you wealthy, the opportunities that could have given you everything that you wanted because you didn't take that shot and you took the instant gratification of not being afraid. Also, staying on our topic of fear, I'd like to talk about, you know, we're biologically wired in a way to be fearful because we used to have to be fearful. We had to be afraid of the lion jumping out of the bush. We have a fight or flight instinct. And we, as a society, have moved along way faster than what we've evolved. So we still have that irrational fear, that fear of, we don't have lions jumping out of the bush at us anymore. But we do have other things that are non-tangible things that we are afraid of. And it kicks in your brain that exact same feeling of fight or flight. You have to get those things under control. You have to realize that most of the time the thing you're afraid of isn't real. It is made up in your mind, and it's not a physical thing that you have to actually fight or flee from. So understanding that and really focusing down on what's the worst thing that can happen. What's the absolute worst? Somebody says no, you need to just go for it. You need to just do it. When you feel that fear, feel the fear and then do it anyways. Feel the fear and push forward. You'll be happy that you did. You'll also notice that as you start getting fearful, fear grows more fear. It's like planting a seed. You feel that fear, and that brings about other fears. And if that happens, and that might make this happen, and if that happens, then this is going to happen, and then you can run down an entire chain of the horrible things that are going to happen off of one fear and letting it grow and grow and grow. It's best just to nip that in the bud, recognize it for what it is right out of the gates, and face the fear and push forward. That's the best advice I can possibly give you when it comes to fear. When you're thinking about your fears, think about what your life will be like if you follow the path of being afraid versus following the risk taker's path. And not even like a life or death risk, just the risk of hearing no. The risk of it maybe not going your way every single time. The risk that this probably is never going to happen, but that someone might laugh at you. What's the absolute worst thing that can happen? And then think about what's the absolute best thing that can happen. And then decide from that which way you want to go. So, to give you an example, if you were going to go for, once again, I'll stick with sales. If I'm going to knock on that door, I'm going to do my entire presentation, and at the end, let's just go worst case scenario, and they laugh at me and tell me my product is a joke, and I'm a joke. Okay, that's a no. I go back out to my car, I drive away, and I knock on the next door and tell the next person. What's the best thing that can happen? They buy from me. And they tell their friends, and they buy from me. And I build a business on that, and I hire other salespeople, and I train them how to sell my product, and they sell, and those people buy from them, and it grows and it flourishes into a full-fledged business that is going to bring me money the rest of my life. Versus that one time that somebody told me no, that one time somebody laughed at me, the one time somebody said my product was a joke. I'm going to tell you right now, you could be selling water in the desert to people that are thirsty, and somebody's going to tell you you're a scammer. Somebody's going to tell you that your product sucks and they don't need it. It's just, I mean, the internet is full of that now. You can't go anywhere on the internet on Facebook or YouTube or anywhere and look in the comments and find everything positive. There's always going to be the naysayers. There's always going to be the person that says, oh, your product's not worth anything and you're not worth anything and whatever. They're just trolls. They just try to bring people down so they don't have to rise up. So the people that face their fears and they live with the failures of life and they take those failures and they learn from them and they take it to the next level and they do better the next time and they take each loss and they build upon it to make it better each time, those are the people that end up, and then all the naysayers will say that you were an overnight success, that you didn't have to work for it, that it just happened for you. And that's the craziest thing ever, is when you're failing and you're losing, everybody points and says, glad that wasn't me. And when you finally bust through and you get success, then it was all luck. Make sure you get our Ultimate Business Startup Checklist and get started today. And when you sign up to get our Ultimate Business Startup Checklist, you'll also get our How to Set Up Your Day Like a Millionaire. You'll find that on our other videos that walk you through the Ultimate Business Startup Checklist and the Setting Up Your Day Like a Millionaire. And please be sure to add in the comments anything you'd like me to cover. I'm going to try to cover everything in my head and put it in yours. But if you'd like to get me to get to it quicker, throw a comment down there. We absolutely want your like and want you to subscribe. For more content, we're going to try to put as much awesome content as we can out there for free and try to give this some kind of a logical order. And hopefully we'll see you on the next video.